As dawn breaks over the African savanna, a golden light spills across a landscape both ancient and alive. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the scent of dry earth and wild grasses, while the silhouettes of acacia trees stand like sentinels against the awakening sky. Giraffes move silently through the morning haze, their elongated forms gliding between the trees, and the distant calls of hornbills echo across the plains. This is a realm of contrasts, where beauty and adversity are woven together in every breath of wind. The savanna's vastness is both a sanctuary and a crucible, shaping every creature that calls it home. When the sun climbs high, its rays become a relentless force, baking the ground until it fractures and sending shimmering waves of heat across the plains. Temperatures soar, and every living thing must adapt or perish beneath the unyielding sky. The rhythm of life here is dictated by the seasons, long, punishing months of drought, when waterholes shrink to muddy puddles and the air is thick with dust, followed by brief, explosive rains that awaken the land in a riot of green and life. Every day is a contest of endurance and ingenuity. Herds of wildebeest and zebras traverse the plains, their senses sharpened by the ever-present threat of predators and the need to find scarce water and grazing. The savanna is a living stage, where the drama of survival plays out in every moment. A lioness crouches in the tall grass, her golden coat blending perfectly with the sun-bleached stalks, while antelope freeze every muscle tensed for flight. Solitude here is perilous. A lone animal is exposed, vulnerable to the sharp eyes and sharper teeth of the savanna's hunters. Safety is found in numbers. Herds and groups move as one, their collective vigilance and strength a shield against the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Within these groups, intricate bonds are forged, alliances that mean the difference between life and death. Lion prides rest in the shade, their bodies pressed close, while baboons groom and chatter, reinforcing the ties that hold their troop together. From the formidable unity of a buffalo herd to the disciplined teamwork of a lion pride, every species has evolved its own strategies for cooperation and survival. The young are nurtured and protected, surrounded by the watchful eyes of the group. Elephants form living walls around their calves, while wildebeest mothers guide their newborns through the perils of migration. Each family is a microcosm of the savanna's complexity, a living testament to the power of connection and care in a world that demands resilience. The ways animals come together are as diverse as the savanna itself. Some form lifelong bonds, others gather in vast, shifting herds that move with the seasons, their movements painting ever-changing patterns across the land. In some species, families are unbreakable units, bound by loyalty and shared purpose. Elephant matriarchs lead their kin with wisdom, while lionesses nurture and defend their cubs with fierce devotion. Elsewhere, the power of the collective is found in sheer numbers. Wildebeest and zebra join forces in migrations that span hundreds of kilometers, their unity a bulwark against predators and the harshness of the journey. For many, safety lies in the crowd. Impalas and springbok cluster tightly, their numbers and agility making it difficult for predators to single out the weak or unwary. Others rely on intelligence and teamwork. Wild dogs and hyenas communicate with subtle signals, coordinating their movements to outwit and overpower prey much larger than themselves. These are not random gatherings, but societies with structure and purpose. Hierarchies are established, roles are assigned, and every member contributes to the group's survival. The social fabric of the savanna is a tapestry of alliances and rivalries, of cooperation and competition. Every interaction, from grooming to confrontation, weaves another thread into the complex web of life. As we traverse these sun-drenched plains, we will uncover the hidden stories of the savanna's inhabitants, each one a marvel of adaptation and instinct. We will witness the unwavering loyalty and discipline of a lion pride, where every member has a role in the hunt and the care of the young. We will marvel at the solitary elegance of the leopard, a master of stealth and patience, whose every movement is a study in grace and precision. We will follow the epic migrations of wildebeest as they brave swollen rivers and prowling predators in a relentless quest for fresh grazing. We will observe the wisdom of elephant herds led by matriarchs whose memories guide their families to hidden water and safe passage through the wilderness. We will see the ingenuity of chimpanzees and baboons who use tools and clever tactics to unlock the savanna's hidden resources. We will discover unlikely alliances as zebras and ostriches, giraffes and antelope join forces, each species lending its unique strengths to the group's survival. Every story is a testament to adaptation and resilience. From the smallest insect to the largest mammal, each creature faces its own trials and triumphs in the daily struggle for existence. In this world, the strength of the group is the ultimate defense, whether in the thunder of hooves, the shelter of a herd, or the bonds of family. Unity is the savanna's greatest weapon, a force as enduring as the land itself. Lions are the undisputed kings of the savanna, their presence commanding respect across the Golden Plains. Yet, their dominance is not simply a matter of brute strength or regal appearance. Their power is rooted in a remarkable combination of physical prowess, razor-sharp claws, bone-shaking roars, and a sophisticated social system that sets them apart from all other big cats. At the heart of this system is the pride, a tightly knit community where every member has a role. The pride's cohesion is maintained through constant social interaction. Grooming, nuzzling, and gentle play reinforce bonds and reduce tension. Unlike solitary leopards or tigers, lions thrive in these complex family groups, which can range from just a handful to over 30 individuals, depending on territory and prey availability. The pride is a matriarchal dynasty, led by a core of related females, grandmothers, mothers, daughters, and sisters, who remain together for life. These lionesses form the backbone of the pride, their relationships spanning generations. This enduring sisterhood is the pride's engine. Together, they coordinate hunts, share the responsibilities of raising cubs, and pool their strength to defend their home range from intruders. When danger threatens, the lionesses respond as one, forming a vigilant, protective barrier around their young and each other. Their senses finely attuned to the subtlest movements in the grass. The bond among the females is so profound that they often synchronize the timing of their births. This results in communal nurseries, where cubs of similar age tumble and play, and any mother will nurse a hungry youngster, regardless of whose offspring it is. Male lions, with their imposing manes and muscular frames, serve a different but essential function within the pride's hierarchy. Unlike the females, males are transient, their tenure with a pride often fleeting. They may spend years as nomads before gaining control of a pride. Males typically form coalitions, alliances of brothers or close relatives, combining their strength to challenge resident males and seize a pride. These coalitions can range from 2 to 6 individuals, and their cooperation is crucial for success. The struggle for dominance is fierce and often violent. Battles between rival coalitions can leave deep scars, and a coalition's reign is usually brief, lasting just a few years before they are ousted by younger, stronger challengers. During their rule, male lions rarely participate in hunts. Instead, they patrol the pride's boundaries, marking territory with scent and roaring to warn off rivals, their presence a constant deterrent to would-be usurpers. A lion's roar is among the loudest of any land animal, echoing across the savanna for up to 8 kilometers. It is both a declaration of ownership and a challenge, a sound that can freeze even the boldest intruder in their tracks. The pride's survival depends on the hunting prowess of the lionesses. They are the strategists and the athletes, using teamwork and stealth to outwit their prey. Hunts are meticulously planned. Lionesses fan out, using the cover of tall grass and the shifting wind to mask their approach. Some act as drivers, flushing prey toward hidden ambushes. When the moment comes, they burst from cover in a coordinated rush, capable of reaching speeds up to 80 kilometers per hour, though only for short distances. The final moments of the hunt are a test of strength and precision. Lions use their powerful forelimbs to grapple large prey, toppling animals many times their own weight. With a suffocating bite to the throat or muzzle, they end the struggle swiftly, minimizing risk to themselves and their pride mates. After a successful hunt, a strict pecking order emerges. The pride gathers at the kill, but not all will eat at once. Dominant males, even if absent from the hunt, feed first. Their size and aggression ensure they claim the choicest portions, reinforcing their authority. The lionesses who orchestrated the hunt eat next, their cooperation at the kill mirroring their teamwork in the field. Cubs, still learning the rules of pride life, wait patiently for their turn, often settling for scraps but gaining vital experience in the process. Despite the pride's unity, competition can flare. Growls and swats are common as each lion jostles for a better share, and the tension at a kill is palpable. The pride's social order, while effective, is not without its harsh realities. When a new coalition of males takes over, they often kill the existing cubs, a brutal act that ensures only their genes are passed on. This infanticide, though shocking, is a natural strategy. By eliminating rivals' offspring, the new males prompt the females to return to estrus, allowing them to sire the next generation before their own reign is challenged. The cycle of power and reproduction is relentless. Within weeks, the pride's future is reshaped, and the lionesses, ever resilient, adapt to the new regime, ensuring the pride's survival. In the world of lions, every day is a test of strength, strategy, and loyalty. Family and power are inseparable, their fates entwined in a landscape where only the most adaptable and united will endure. In the shifting tapestry of sunlight and shadow that blankets the savanna, a solitary figure moves with unmatched grace and caution. Here, the leopard reigns, not by brute force or numbers, but by the art of invisibility and the mastery of solitude. The leopard is the undisputed master of stealth, a silent assassin whose every step is calculated. Its padded paws allow it to move almost soundlessly, gliding through the grass with barely a whisper, even when the ground is dry and brittle. Unlike the lion, whose power lies in the pride, the leopard's strength is its independence. It spends most of its life alone, surveying its domain from rocky outcrops or the crook of a tree branch, always alert to the movements of both prey and rival predators. Each leopard commands a territory that can stretch for many square kilometers, depending on the abundance of prey and the density of competitors. It marks this private kingdom with deep claw scratches and pungent scent, leaving unmistakable messages for any intruder. These silent warnings are vital in a world where encounters with other leopards can quickly turn violent. The scent, marks and clawed trees are both a deterrent and a declaration. This land is claimed. For most of the year, leopards avoid one another, their meetings brief and charged with tension. A low growl, a flash of teeth, and one will usually retreat, minimizing the risk of injury in a world where even a minor wound can be fatal. Only during the brief mating season do these solitary cats tolerate each other's presence. For 3 days, a male and female will share space, their interactions a rare display of tolerance before they part ways once more. The leopard's solitary existence has honed it into the ultimate ambush predator. It relies on patience, sometimes waiting for hours in the cover of grass or behind a fallen log, its body pressed low, muscles coiled and ready to spring. Its golden eyes, rimmed with black, scan the landscape for the slightest movement, a flick of an ear, the tremor of a hoof. The leopard's senses are razor-sharp, attuned to the faintest rustle or scent on the wind. When the moment is right, the leopard creeps forward, sometimes closing the distance to within 5 meters of its target. Its approach is so silent that even the most vigilant antelope may not sense the danger until it is too late. The leopard's coat, a mosaic of rosettes and spots, is more than beautiful. It is a perfect disguise. In the dappled light beneath trees or among the tall grasses, the cat becomes almost invisible, a living shadow. Once it strikes, the leopard's power is revealed. With jaws clamped around the throat of its prey, it suffocates its victim swiftly. Then, using immense strength, it drags the carcass, sometimes twice its own weight, up into the safety of the trees. This remarkable feat is not just a display of strength, but a necessity. In the trees, the leopard's meal is safe from scavengers like hyenas and lions, who would eagerly steal its hard-earned prize if given the chance. The only deep social bond a leopard forms is between a mother and her cubs. For the first weeks of life, the cubs remain hidden in dense thickets or rocky crevices, utterly dependent on their mother's protection. For up to 2 years, the mother is a vigilant guardian and sole provider. She must hunt not only for herself, but for her growing young, returning to the den with fresh kills and moving her cubs frequently to avoid detection by predators. As the cubs grow, she teaches them the secrets of survival, how to stalk silently, how to read the wind, and how to recognize the warning calls of birds that signal danger. Play becomes practice for the deadly skills they will need. The demands on the mother are relentless. She must balance the need to hunt with the need to remain close, always wary of lions, hyenas, and even other leopards that would kill her cubs if given the chance. She leads her cubs to hidden kills, teaching them to feed quickly and quietly, and to vanish at the first sign of danger. When threats approach, she hides them deep in the undergrowth, trusting their instincts to remain silent and still. During this time, she's their only protector, teacher, and source of food. The cub's survival depends entirely on her vigilance and skill. When the cubs are old enough to hunt for themselves, the bond is severed. The mother becomes distant, sometimes aggressive, driving her offspring away to prevent competition for food and territory. The young leopards set out alone, each venturing into the unknown to carve out a territory of their own. They must learn to read the subtle signs left by others to avoid danger and to find the best hunting grounds. This forced separation may seem harsh, but it is essential for the survival of both mother and cubs. It reduces competition and ensures that each leopard has a chance to thrive. As they disperse, the young leopards face a gauntlet of challenges, finding food, avoiding larger predators, and establishing a territory without provoking deadly confrontations. From that moment on, each leopard becomes a solitary shadow, a master of stealth and survival. Moving through the twilight, it is both hunter and ghost, an enduring symbol of the power and resilience of life lived alone on the savanna. Each year, the African savanna becomes the stage for one of the planet's most breathtaking spectacles, the Great Migration. Stretching across the vast Serengeti Mara ecosystem, this epic journey is a relentless, circular odyssey that covers nearly 3,000 kilometers. Over 1.5 million wildebeest, joined by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, form a living river of hooves and horns. Together they traverse open plains, woodlands, and river valleys, their movements synchronized by ancient instincts and the rhythm of the rains. The migration is not a leisurely trek, but a desperate quest for survival. The herds are constantly on the move, driven by the need to find fresh grazing and water as the seasons shift. The savanna's harsh climate brings searing heat, sudden storms, and long periods of drought, testing the endurance of every animal. Wildebeest possess an extraordinary ability to detect distant rainfall, sometimes sensing storms from up to 50 kilometers away. They follow the promise of new grass, moving in vast columns that stretch to the horizon, their hooves churning the earth and raising clouds of dust. The air is thick with anticipation as the herds sniff the wind, reading subtle changes in humidity and the scent of rain. This sensitivity allows them to time their movements with remarkable precision, arriving just as the first shoots of green emerge from the parched soil. When the rains finally arrive, the transformation is immediate. The once barren plains erupt in a carpet of fresh, nutrient-rich grass, providing a brief window of abundance. Wildebeest graze voraciously, replenishing their strength for the trials ahead. The timing of the migration is crucial for the next generation. Wildebeest have evolved to synchronize calving with the peak of the rains, ensuring that their young are born when food is most plentiful and the grass is soft enough for tiny mouths. Before the journey begins in earnest, the rut, an intense mating season, unfolds. Males clash in fierce battles, their curved horns locking in displays of strength and dominance. Victorious bulls gather harems, ensuring their genes will be carried forward. This synchronized breeding means that nearly all females become pregnant at the same time, setting the stage for a mass birthing event months later. In a matter of weeks, the plains are dotted with newborn calves, some 400,000 in total, most arriving within a tight 2 to 3 week window. This overwhelming surge of life is a calculated defense against the ever-present threat of predators. This phenomenon, known as predator swamping, floods the landscape with more vulnerable young than predators can possibly consume, ensuring that the majority survive their most perilous days. Lions, hyenas, cheetahs, and leopards lurk at the edges of the herds, their senses attuned to the cries of the weak and the isolated. Yet the sheer number of calves means that most escape predation, protected by the vigilance and unity of the herd. For each newborn, survival begins with a test of strength and coordination. Within minutes of birth, a calf must struggle to its feet, its legs trembling as it learns to stand in the open, exposed to both the elements and prowling predators. The savanna is an unforgiving nursery. Scorching sun, sudden downpours, and biting winds are constant companions. There is no shelter, no reprieve, only the urgency to move and survive. A newborn wildebeest must be upright within 3 to 7 minutes, and within 15 minutes it must be able to run, keeping pace with the ever-moving herd. There is no time for weakness. The herd rarely stops, and calves that lag behind are quickly left vulnerable to the predators that shadow the migration. The relentless pace is a matter of life and death. The herd's movement is dictated by the availability of food and water, and every member must keep up or be lost. Predators exploit any sign of weakness. Lions and hyenas target the young, the sick, and the old, while cheetahs rely on bursts of speed to snatch calves from the fringes of the herd. Only the most robust calves, guided and protected by their mothers, survive these early trials. This precocial ability, being able to run soon after birth, is a vital adaptation for a life in constant motion. The migration's most perilous obstacle is the crossing of swollen rivers like the Mara. Here the herds gather in tense anticipation, sensing the danger that lurks beneath the surface. Driven by hunger and the pressure of the herd behind them, wildebeest plunge into the churning waters, where ancient predators await. Nile crocodiles, some over 5 meters long, explode from the depths with astonishing speed. Their jaws, the most powerful in the animal kingdom, clamp down on unsuspecting prey, dragging them beneath the surface in a violent struggle. Many wildebeest are swept away by strong currents, trampled in the chaos, or fall victim to the crocodiles. The river becomes a gauntlet of death, claiming the weak and the unlucky. Those who survive the crossing often emerge battered and exhausted. Injured animals, separated from the herd, become easy targets for predators that patrol the riverbanks. Yet this brutal process is essential to the health of the ecosystem. The fallen feed crocodiles, vultures, and scavengers, while the survivors, stronger and more resilient, continue their journey. The migration shapes the landscape, fertilizing the soil and supporting countless other species, from insects to birds of prey. In this endless cycle of movement, struggle, and renewal, the wildebeest migration stands as a testament to the power and resilience of life on the African savanna. In the vast, sun-drenched savannas of Africa, the world of elephants is shaped by a remarkable social structure, one that is both ancient and deeply sophisticated. Here, survival is not dictated by brute force, but by the collective wisdom and memory of the herd passed down through generations. At the heart of every elephant family stands the matriarch, the oldest and most experienced female. Her leadership is not earned through dominance, but through decades of accumulated knowledge and unwavering guidance. She is the living memory of the herd, a repository of information about the landscape, the seasons, and the dangers that lurk beyond the horizon. Her mind is a map, etched with the locations of hidden water holes, the safest routes through parched terrain, and the subtle signs of shifting weather. In times of crisis, it is her experience that can mean the difference between life and death for her family. When drought grips the land and the rivers run dry, the matriarch leads her family, often spanning 3 or more generations, across unforgiving distances. Her memory of past hardships guides them to the last remaining sources of water and nourishment. The herd's fate rests on her broad shoulders, and her decisions ripple through the lives of every member, from the youngest calf to the eldest daughter. Social bonds within the herd are forged through constant touch, gentle rumbles, and shared experiences. In moments of vulnerability, whether sheltering from a sudden storm or mourning a loss, these bonds become a lifeline, uniting the group in a tapestry of empathy and support. The journey of new life is a slow and careful process. Elephants endure the longest gestation of any land mammal, 22 months, allowing the calf's brain to develop the complexity needed for survival in such a demanding environment. When a female is ready to give birth, the herd instinctively forms a protective circle around her. This living barrier shields the vulnerable mother and newborn from predators and prying eyes, ensuring the calf's first moments are safe and secure. The spirit of cooperation does not end at birth. The entire herd rallies around the newborn, offering protection, guidance, and affection as the calf takes its first tentative steps into the world. Every member, from the matriarch to the youngest juvenile, plays a role in nurturing and teaching the next generation. Calves learn by watching and imitating, absorbing the skills they will need to thrive. Young females, known as allomothers, act as attentive babysitters. Through their care they gain invaluable experience, preparing for the day when they will raise calves of their own and contribute to the herd's future. While the matriarchal herd is the heart of elephant society, the lives of males follow a different path. Young bulls, as they mature, gradually spend more time on the periphery, learning the ways of independence. Upon reaching puberty, usually between 12 and 15 years of age, a young bull is gently but firmly encouraged to leave the family group. This transition marks the beginning of a solitary journey, or life among loosely associated bachelor herds. In these bachelor groups, young males spar and test their strength, learning the social cues and physical skills that will one day determine their place among the giants of the Savanna. As bulls mature, they enter musth, a period marked by surging hormones and heightened aggression. During musth, a bull's testosterone can soar to extraordinary levels, making him both formidable and highly attractive to females. These powerful displays of dominance and competition ensure that only the strongest, most resilient males pass on their genes, maintaining the health and vitality of the population. Rival bulls may engage in intense confrontations, their massive bodies colliding in contests of strength and endurance, each vying for the right to mate. Communication among elephants is a marvel of the natural world. Through a complex language of touch, posture, and sound, they convey everything from reassurance to warning. Most extraordinary of all is their use of infrasound, deep, rumbling calls that travel for miles, undetectable to human ears but unmistakable to other elephants. These low-frequency signals pass through the ground, picked up by the sensitive pads of an elephant's feet, and interpreted with astonishing accuracy, allowing herds to communicate across vast distances. This remarkable ability enables herds to coordinate migrations, warn of danger, and maintain contact even when separated by the endless expanse of the savanna. Elephants also display a profound awareness of mortality. When encountering the bones of a fallen companion, they pause, gently caressing the remains with their trunks, a gesture that speaks to a depth of emotion and social complexity rarely witnessed in the animal kingdom. In the matriarch's world, every memory, every bond, and every lesson is woven into the fabric of survival, ensuring the legacy of the herd endures across the generations. In the sun-baked, arid stretches of the African savanna, where the dense forest thins into open woodland, a remarkable community of chimpanzees has carved out a life against the odds. These are our closest animal relatives, and here their intelligence is put to the ultimate test. Survival in this unforgiving landscape demands constant innovation. Chimpanzees must adapt to searing heat, scarce water, and unpredictable food supplies. Their days are filled with challenges that require not just strength but cleverness and adaptability. Nowhere is their ingenuity more evident than in the Fongoli chimpanzees, who have become renowned for their unique use of tools. Unlike any other non-human animal, these chimpanzees routinely craft and wield lethal weapons. With remarkable precision, a chimpanzee will select a sturdy, straight branch, stripping away leaves and side shoots. Using its powerful jaws, it gnaws one end to a sharp point, transforming the branch into a primitive spear. This process can take several minutes, requiring patience and dexterity. Armed with this tool, the chimpanzee approaches a hollow tree, listening intently for the faint rustle of a bush baby hidden within. With careful, deliberate jabs, it probes the darkness, sometimes stunning or impaling its elusive prey. This hunting method opens up a food source inaccessible to most other predators. Intriguingly, it is often the females and juveniles who lead the way in tool innovation. Youngsters watch and imitate their mothers, learning not just how to make tools, but when and where to use them. This knowledge is passed down through generations, shaping the culture of the group. The savanna's relentless heat, sometimes soaring to 45 degrees Celsius, forces chimpanzees to find creative ways to stay cool. They seek out the meager shade of scattered trees, panting to regulate their body temperature, and timing their activities to avoid the hottest hours. In a rare adaptation among primates, these chimpanzees have discovered the cooling refuge of caves. Deep within the earth, the air is moist and several degrees cooler, offering a sanctuary from the midday sun. Here, entire groups may rest, grooming and socializing in the dim light. When rain fills natural depressions, the chimpanzees gather for what can only be described as soaking parties. They wade, splash, and even play in the water, cooling their bodies and strengthening social bonds through shared enjoyment. During the dry season, when surface water vanishes, their resourcefulness shines. Chimpanzees dig with their hands in the sandy beds of dried-up rivers, sometimes several feet deep, to reach hidden reserves of clean, filtered water. This behavior requires not only strength, but an understanding of the landscape and the patience to persist. Each of these behaviors, tool use, cave dwelling, water excavation, reflects a sophisticated understanding of their environment. These are not mere tricks, but essential strategies for survival, honed by generations of trial and error. The challenges of the savanna have also shaped the chimpanzees' social lives. In this open, unpredictable world, cooperation and communication are vital. Food is often scarce and widely scattered, so chimpanzees have learned to share their spoils. After a successful hunt or a lucky find, individuals distribute meat or fruit among the group, reinforcing alliances and reducing conflict. These shared meals are more than just nourishment. They are social events where relationships are built and maintained. The act of sharing meat in particular can cement friendships and even influence the group's hierarchy. In this environment, females often rise in status. Their expertise in tool use and their role in food distribution make them central figures, respected and sought after for their knowledge. Female chimpanzees are frequently the innovators, developing new techniques and passing them on to their offspring. Their ability to teach and lead gives them a unique influence within the group, rarely seen in other chimpanzee populations. The social structure of savanna chimpanzees is fluid and dynamic. Groups split and merge throughout the day, a system known as fission-fusion. This allows them to adapt to changing conditions, searching for food in small parties and reuniting for safety and companionship. As dusk falls, scattered parties converge, traveling together to favored resting spots. The evening is a time for grooming, play, and reaffirming social ties before the night's rest. This flexible approach to group living allows them to cover vast areas in search of food, maximizing their chances of finding enough to eat in a landscape where resources are always on the move. Communication is constant and complex. Chimpanzees use a rich repertoire of vocalizations, gestures, and facial expressions to coordinate movements, warn of danger, and express emotions ranging from excitement to reassurance. Through teamwork, shared wisdom, and relentless curiosity, these savanna chimpanzees have become true masters of their environment. Their story is one of adaptation, resilience, and the extraordinary power of ingenuity in the face of adversity. The African savanna is a vast stage where survival depends not just on strength or speed, but on the power of collaboration and the bonds formed between unlikely allies. Here, the struggle for life has given rise to remarkable partnerships and some of the most formidable clans in the animal kingdom. Among the most fascinating alliances is that of the ostrich and the zebra. The ostrich, towering above the grass, boasts the largest eyes of any land animal, capable of detecting movement from kilometers away. Zebras, meanwhile, rely on their acute hearing and sensitive noses to pick up the faintest sounds and sense of danger. By grazing together, these two species create a living early warning system. The ostrich's elevated vantage point allows it to spot distant predators, while the zebra's ears swivel independently, catching the slightest rustle in the grass. When one senses danger, both react, often triggering a chain reaction that alerts other nearby animals, such as wildebeest or impala, who join the exodus to safety. In contrast to these alliances, some animals rely on sheer force of numbers and collective might. The Cape buffalo, weighing nearly a ton, is infamous for its unpredictable temperament and formidable horns. Herds can number in the hundreds, and their social structure is surprisingly democratic. Decisions about movement are made by the group, with individuals casting their votes by facing the direction they wish to travel. When danger approaches, Cape buffaloes form a living fortress, standing shoulder to shoulder with horns pointed outward. This phalanx is nearly impenetrable, and if a predator dares to attack, the herd will charge as one, often chasing lions away and even rescuing captured calves. Their memory is long, and they have been known to single out and pursue specific predators that have threatened them in the past. The spotted hyena clan is another of the savanna's most complex societies. Unlike most mammals, hyena clans are ruled by females, who are larger and more dominant than the males. Their social bonds are reinforced through ritualized greetings, grooming, and a strict hierarchy that determines access to food and breeding rights. Within the clan, status is inherited through the maternal line. Cubs born to high-ranking females are granted priority at kills and are fiercely protected by the group. Even at a young age, cubs display dominance behaviors, establishing their place in the social order. Hyenas are not just scavengers. They are skilled hunters, capable of bringing down large prey through teamwork and relentless endurance. When confronting lions, they use their numbers and coordination to harass and outmaneuver their rivals, sometimes stealing hard-won meals or defending their own kills with fierce determination. The African wild dog, meanwhile, is the savanna's most efficient predator. Packs are tightly bonded, led by an alpha pair whose pups are cared for by every member. Their hunts are a masterclass in cooperation. Wild dogs communicate with high-pitched calls, fanning out to encircle prey and taking turns leading the chase. After a successful hunt, they return to the den, where even the youngest pups and injured adults are fed through regurgitation. a rare display of selflessness in the wild. Across the savanna, these alliances and clans, whether forged by necessity or by blood, demonstrate that survival is not just about individual strength, but about the power of unity, strategy, and the remarkable ways animals work together to overcome the challenges of their world. While many savanna animals rely on complex social structures for survival, some of the most formidable predators of these wildlands and their coastal fringes are solitary hunters, perfectly adapted for ambush and surprise. These ancient predators have evolved over millions of years, developing specialized techniques that make them some of the most efficient killers in the animal kingdom. The Nile crocodile, a true living fossil, is the largest freshwater predator in Africa. Its lineage stretches back to the time of the dinosaurs, and its body is armored with thick, rugged scales that provide both protection and camouflage. With a body length that can exceed 16 feet and a weight of over 1,000 pounds, the Nile crocodile is a formidable presence along the continent's rivers and lakes. These reptiles are masters of patience and stealth. They spend hours, sometimes days, lying motionless in the water, their eyes and nostrils just above the surface, perfectly mimicking a drifting log. This camouflage allows them to remain undetected by both prey and potential rivals. Beneath the water's surface, the crocodile's muscular body is coiled and ready to strike. Its tail, thick and powerful, can propel it forward in a sudden burst of speed, while its webbed feet help it maneuver silently through the water. The Nile crocodile's jaws are lined with conical teeth designed for gripping and holding on to struggling prey. With the strongest bite force in the animal kingdom, over 5,000 pounds per square inch, these jaws can crush bone, turtle shells, and even the thick hides of large mammals. When an unsuspecting animal approaches the water's edge to drink, the crocodile launches itself with explosive speed, seizing its victim in a vice-like grip. The infamous death roll follows, a violent spinning maneuver that disorients prey and tears flesh from bone, ensuring a swift end. During the Great Migration, when herds of wildebeest and zebra must cross treacherous rivers, crocodiles gather in large numbers, lying in wait for the perfect moment to strike. These crossings are scenes of chaos and danger, where only the most vigilant and agile animals survive. As thousands of hooves churn the muddy water, crocodiles use the confusion to their advantage, singling out the weak, the young, or the injured. Their attacks are swift and merciless, and the river becomes a battleground where survival is never guaranteed. After a successful hunt, crocodiles often attract a host of scavengers, vultures, marabou storks, and even opportunistic fish, drawn to the remains. In this way, crocodiles play a vital role in the ecosystem, recycling nutrients and ensuring that nothing goes to waste. Their hunting method is a blend of brute strength, patience, and perfect timing. Over millions of years, these strategies have been refined, making crocodiles some of the most successful predators on the planet. Unlike many predators, crocodiles are solitary by nature. They do not rely on packs or prides. Instead, their survival depends on their ability to remain unseen and strike with overwhelming force. Every riverbank, every patch of reeds, can conceal a deadly ambush. Along the southern edge of the continent, where the savanna meets the wild South African coastline, the drama of predation takes on new forms. Here, the boundary between land and sea is a dynamic frontier, home to a different caste of formidable hunters. In these coastal waters, the great white shark reigns as an apex predator. With torpedo-shaped bodies, rows of serrated teeth, and an acute sense of smell, great whites patrol the kelp forests and open ocean, ambushing seals and fish with lightning speed. Yet even the great white is not invincible. In recent years, a pair of orcas, port and starboard, have demonstrated remarkable intelligence and teamwork, targeting sharks with a precision rarely seen in the wild. These orcas use a coordinated strategy, flipping sharks onto their backs to induce tonic immobility, a trance-like state that leaves the shark completely vulnerable. Once immobilized, The shark is at the mercy of the orcas, who circle with calculated patience, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. With surgical precision, the orcas bite into the shark's abdomen, extracting the nutrient-rich liver, a prized source of energy, while leaving the rest of the carcass to drift away. This highly specialized feeding behavior is a testament to the orca's adaptability and intelligence, allowing them to exploit a resource that few other predators can access. The impact of these predation events is profound. As orcas target great whites, the sharks abandon their traditional hunting grounds, leading to shifts in the local marine ecosystem. Seals and other prey species may flourish in the absence of their primary predator, altering the delicate balance of life along the coast. Scientists have observed entire stretches of coastline, once teeming with great whites, now eerily empty. This landscape of fear ripples through the food web, affecting everything from fish populations to seabird colonies. Whether lurking in the muddy rivers of the Savanna or patrolling the wild coastal waters, these predators, crocodiles, sharks, and orcas, are vital architects of their ecosystems. Their hunting methods, honed by evolution, ensure that only the fittest survive, maintaining the health and balance of the natural world. In the eternal contest between hunter and hunted, it is the adaptability, intelligence, and raw power of these solitary killers that shape the destiny of life on both land and sea. As the sun dips below the horizon, the African savanna is transformed into a realm of deepening shadows and vibrant color. The air cools and the golden grasses sway gently in the evening breeze, while the silhouettes of elephants, giraffes, and wildebeest stretch across the land. This is not a moment of stillness, but a transition, one where the pulse of life beats on, guided by the remarkable force of togetherness. As darkness settles, herds of zebras gather tightly, their stripes blending into a living tapestry that confuses predators and offers safety in numbers. Each individual is alert, ears flicking and eyes scanning, but it is their collective vigilance that forms an impenetrable shield against the dangers lurking in the night. In the tall grass, a lion pride moves with silent precision. Each member knows their role. Some circle wide to drive prey, while others wait in ambush. Their coordinated strategy is a masterpiece of instinct and communication, allowing them to bring down animals far larger than any single lion could manage alone. At the heart of an elephant herd, the matriarch leads with wisdom earned over decades. She remembers the hidden waterholes and the safest paths, guiding her family through drought and danger. Her leadership is not just respected, it is vital, as the herd's survival depends on her knowledge and the unity of its members. In the forests bordering the savanna, chimpanzee troops display remarkable intelligence and cooperation. They share tools, teach the young, and work together to extract food from the most challenging places. Their social bonds are reinforced through grooming and play, creating a network of trust that supports every member. The savanna's challenges are relentless. Under the punishing midday sun, animals seek shade together, sharing the limited coolness beneath acacia trees. When water is scarce, herds travel vast distances as a unit, their survival dependent on the strength and cohesion of the group. Antelope and zebra form mixed herds, their senses combining to detect threats from every direction. When danger approaches, a single alarm call can send the entire group into motion, a wave of bodies moving as one, evading predators through sheer unity and speed. Predators, too, rely on teamwork. Packs of wild dogs execute complex chases, each member anticipating the movements of the others, their relentless pursuit a testament to the power of coordinated effort. The young learn by example. Elephant calves watch their elders, mimicking their movements and absorbing the lessons of survival. Lion cubs are schooled in the art of the hunt, their play a rehearsal for the challenges ahead. When danger strikes, buffalo herds form a living fortress, the strongest adults facing outward, horns lowered, while the vulnerable are shielded within. This defensive phalanx is a formidable barrier, a living wall that few predators dare to challenge. Elephants communicate in low rumbles that travel for miles, coordinating movements and warning of threats. These silent messages bind the herd together, allowing them to act as a single, unified entity even when spread across great distances. Yet, not all are social. The leopard, a solitary master, moves alone through the shadows, relying on stealth and patience. Its solitary path is a reminder that there are many ways to survive, but even the leopard's fate is intertwined with the rhythms of the herds it hunts. Crocodiles, too, wait in silence at the riverbanks, their survival dependent on the great migrations. When thousands of wildebeest surge across the water, the crocodile's patience is rewarded, and the cycle of life continues. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, work together to scavenge the remains of a lion's kill. Their social structure is complex, with clear hierarchies and coordinated efforts to defend their prize from rivals. As zebras graze, they clear the way for smaller herbivores, their movements shaping the landscape and creating opportunities for others. Each species, in its own way, contributes to the balance of the ecosystem. The bonds of family and community are the savanna's greatest defense. Mothers shield their young, elders guide the inexperienced, and every member plays a role in the survival of the group. These invisible ties are the true strength of the savanna, forged through countless generations of shared struggle and triumph. Packs of wild dogs move with astonishing coordination, following the lead of the most experienced. Their unity allows them to cover vast distances and outmaneuver prey, a living example of the power of collective action. And when the great migrations begin, the savanna comes alive with movement. Tens of thousands of animals surge across the plains, driven by instinct and the promise of new grass. This epic journey is only possible through the strength of the herd, each individual protected and propelled by the many. In this land of extremes, togetherness is not just a strategy, it is the very foundation of survival, a living testament to the extraordinary power of unity in the wild. As the last rays of sunlight vanish and the savanna is cloaked in deep indigo, a new world awakens, one ruled by shadows, silence, and senses sharpened by darkness. Night on the savanna is not a time of rest for all. It is the domain of the nocturnal, each species uniquely adapted to thrive when others sleep. In the cool hush, the piercing calls of nightjars echo across the plains, their cryptic plumage blending perfectly with the dusty earth. Above, the wide-eyed gaze of bush babies surveys the branches, their nimble leaps between acacia limbs, barely disturbing the night air. These tiny primates feast on insects and sweet tree sap, guided by enormous eyes that catch the faintest glimmer of starlight. Down below, the stealthy serval cat begins its nightly hunt. With satellite dish ears swiveling to detect the slightest movement, it stalks through the tall grass, listening for the rustle of rodents beneath the surface. With a sudden leap, it pounces, its precision a product of perfect adaptation to the darkness. In the distance, a chorus of hyenas rises, their haunting whoop signaling the start of their nightly patrol. Under the cover of night, these formidable predators organize into clans, using intricate vocalizations to coordinate movements and locate distant kills. Their powerful jaws make short work of bones and leftovers, recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. Meanwhile, the elusive aardvark emerges from its burrow, snout twitching as it sniffs out termite mounds. Its powerful claws dig swiftly and silently, feasting on thousands of insects that would devastate the savanna's grasses by day. The pangolin, armored and shy, unrolls from its ball and shuffles in search of ants, protected from predators by its scale-plated skin. Predator and prey are locked in a silent duel. Impalas and gazelles, now more vulnerable, form tight groups and rely on keen hearing and the faintest sense on the breeze to detect danger. The lion pride, so visible in daylight, becomes nearly invisible at night. Their eyes, specially adapted to low light, give them a distinct advantage. With the wind in their favor, they move in near silence, fanning out to encircle sleeping herds. The tension builds with every step, every whisper of grass beneath padded paws. Not all threats are mammalian. The African rock python, massive and patient, lies coiled in ambush near waterholes, sensing the vibrations of thirsty visitors. Its strike is swift, silent, and almost always fatal. Owl wings glide noiselessly overhead, their acute vision and silent flight making them perfect nocturnal hunters. They swoop down on unsuspecting mice and insects, their presence betrayed only by the occasional flash of talons in moonlight. The air itself seems to change at night, cooler, denser, filled with scents that tell stories only animals can decipher. Some creatures, like the spring hare, use powerful hind legs to bound across open ground, escaping danger with unpredictable leaps. Others, like the African civet, rely on camouflage and a keen sense of smell to forage for fruit, eggs, and insects. Through it all, the savanna pulses with hidden life. Every sound, every movement is amplified by the stillness. The night is a time of risk and opportunity, where survival depends on adaptation, cunning, and the ability to vanish into darkness. As dawn approaches, the first birds begin to sing and the nocturnal world recedes. The creatures of the night retreat to their dens, burrows, and nests, leaving behind only the faintest traces of their passing. But when darkness returns, so too will the secret life of the savanna, thriving in the shadows beneath the stars. Beneath the towering grasses and amidst the roots of sprawling acacias, an entire world of miniature marvels thrives, one that often escapes notice, yet forms the foundation of the savanna's balance. These are the unsung architects, insects, and small creatures whose daily struggles and triumphs shape the fate of giants. Termite mounds rise like ancient monuments sculpted by millions of tireless workers. These social insects are master builders, creating complex networks of tunnels and chambers that regulate temperature and humidity with remarkable precision. By breaking down tough plant material, termites recycle nutrients and aerate the soil, making it richer for the grasses and trees that feed the savanna's herds. Nearby, columns of leafcutter ants march in disciplined lines, carrying fragments of green overhead like tiny banners. Their underground gardens cultivate fungus, a food source that sustains the colony and returns vital nutrients to the earth. Dung beetles, the savanna's tireless cleaners, roll balls of dung across the plains, burying them to feed their young and fertilize the soil. Without their efforts, waste would pile up, and vital nutrients would be lost to the wind. In the shade of grasses and shrubs, assassin bugs and praying mantises lie in ambush, relying on camouflage and lightning-fast reflexes to capture unwary prey. These silent hunters help control insect populations, preventing outbreaks that could devastate vegetation. Jumping spiders, though small, are fearless predators. They stalk their quarry with keen eyesight and agile leaps, keeping the balance between insect species in check. Meanwhile, butterflies and bees flit from blossom to blossom, pollinating wildflowers and crops alike, ensuring the next generation of plants and the survival of countless herbivores. Hidden in the soil, earthworms and beetle larvae tunnel tirelessly, breaking down decaying matter and enhancing soil structure. Their work allows rainwater to penetrate deeper, nourishing the roots of the savanna's iconic trees. Even the smallest creatures have evolved remarkable defenses. Some beetles exude foul-tasting chemicals, deterring hungry birds and mammals. Antlions dig conical pits to trap passing insects, while stick insects vanish against twigs and leaves, evading predators with perfect mimicry. Each day, as the sun rises and sets over the savanna, the lives of these tiny titans unfold in silent harmony. Their survival strategies, cooperation, camouflage, speed, and ingenuity, are as diverse as the creatures themselves. In ways both seen and unseen, they sustain the web of life, proving that even the smallest inhabitants can have the greatest impact. Without their quiet labor, the savanna would falter. The giants above depend on the legions below, connected by threads of energy, nutrients, and life itself. In the grand tapestry of the savanna, the smallest creatures are the most essential, forever shaping the world one grain of soil at a time. Across the vast expanse of the savanna, the passage of time is written not in days, but in seasons, a relentless cycle of renewal and challenge that shapes every life beneath the sun. As the dry season descends, the sky turns a pale, unwavering blue, and the once verdant grasses wither to gold. Waterholes shrink to muddy basins, ringed by desperate footprints. The land crackles underfoot, and the air shimmers with heat. In these harsh months, survival demands adaptation. Herds of wildebeest and zebra trek for miles, their memories and instincts guiding them to the promise of water. Elephants dig into parched riverbeds with their trunks, unearthing hidden reserves to quench their thirst. Lions and hyenas grow leaner, their patience tested as prey grows scarce and wary. No creature is untouched by the drought's grip. Yet beneath the surface, seeds and bulbs lie dormant, waiting for the rains. Burrowing frogs and toads seal themselves underground in cocoons of mucus, slowing their heartbeat to a whisper until the first distant rumbles of thunder. Termites retreat deeper into their mounds, conserving moisture and energy, while birds like the red-billed Kulea band together in vast flocks, searching for the last remnants of grain. Then, as if by magic, the sky darkens and the clouds break. The wet season arrives in a rush of wind and torrential rain. Lightning splits the horizon and the earth drinks deeply. Within days the savanna is transformed. Fresh shoots pierce the soil, painting the plains in shades of emerald. Waterholes brim anew, and the air is alive with the calls of returning birds. Life surges forward in a frenzy of renewal. Antelope calves are born in synchrony, their numbers overwhelming predators in a brief window of safety. Insects swarm, providing a feast for birds and reptiles. Fish appear in ephemeral pools, their eggs having lain dormant through the drought. Crocodiles, once sluggish in the heat, become swift hunters again, lurking in the swollen rivers. Predators adapt to the changing landscape. Cheetahs and wild dogs take advantage of the tall, concealing grasses, while leopards retreat to the trees to escape the rising waters. The food chain flexes and shifts, opportunities for some, hardship for others. With each passing season, the savanna is sculpted anew. Trees shed or regrow their leaves, grasses rise and fall, and the tapestry of life is rewoven. The rhythm of wet and dry, abundance and scarcity tests every inhabitant, shaping the remarkable adaptations seen in every species. Through it all, the savanna endures, a living landscape, pulsing with the heartbeat of the seasons. Beneath the sun-baked earth of the savanna lies a secret network, a lifeline hidden from the naked eye. In this unforgiving landscape, where surface water can vanish for months on end, survival often depends on the ability to seek out what remains unseen, the hidden waters. Ancient riverbeds, now dry and cracked, conceal pockets of moisture deep below. Elephants, masters of memory and intuition, lead their herds along time-worn trails to these subterranean reservoirs. With powerful trunks and determined tusks, matriarchs dig into the sand, unearthing cool, muddy water. Their efforts provide for not just their own families, but for a host of other thirsty travelers. Zebras, antelope, and warthogs gather in patient lines, each waiting their turn at the precious well. But this generosity comes at a price. Predators lurk nearby, drawn by the congregation of prey. Elsewhere, the acacia and baobab trees act as silent sentinels, storing water within their fibrous trunks. Giraffes and elephants strip bark and leaves, accessing the hidden moisture within. Smaller creatures, too, have learned to read the land's subtle signs. Honey badgers and aardvarks sniff out the faint scent of damp earth, while birds like sandgrouse fly vast distances, their feathers specially adapted to soak up and ferry water back to their chicks. Yet competition is fierce. As waterholes shrink, tensions rise. Hippos, usually tolerant neighbors, become territorial, fighting for the last muddy wallows. Crocodiles retreat to deeper pools, motionless and patient, waiting for the desperate to come close. At dusk, jackals and hyenas risk the wrath of larger beasts, darting in for a quick drink before vanishing into the shadows. Even beneath the ground, life adapts. Burrowing frogs and toads wait for the faintest trickle, their survival tied to the unpredictable pulse of the aquifers. Termites dig elaborate tunnels to reach moisture below, their colonies thriving where others falter. For every creature, the search for water is a daily trial, a test of memory, ingenuity, and sometimes sheer luck. The hidden waters of the savanna sustain life against impossible odds, shaping the destinies of all who roam these ancient plains. Here, every drop is a treasure, and the quest for it weaves yet another thread into the rich tapestry of the savanna. Above the endless grasslands, a sky full of wings tells a story of resilience and adaptation. The savanna's birds are as varied as the landscape itself, from the towering ostrich striding across the plains to the delicate weaver birds spinning golden nests among the acacias. Each dawn, the air shimmers with birdsong, a chorus that marks territory, attracts mates, and signals the start of another day. In the treetops, colonies of weaver birds flutter in a frenzy of activity. Males with beaks full of grass and reeds weave intricate hanging nests, each a testament to patience and precision. Females inspect every structure, choosing only the finest for their future young. Nearby, hornbills and rollers perch, scanning for insects disturbed by grazing herds. Migration is a marvel written across the savanna skies. Flocks of storks, bee-eaters, and swallows ride invisible highways, timing their journeys to the pulse of the rains. Some travel thousands of kilometers, crossing continents to reach these seasonal refuges. Their arrival signals abundance, as the returning rains awaken insects and seeds, fueling a brief but intense period of nesting and rearing chicks. On the ground, secretary birds stalk through the tall grass, dispatching snakes and rodents with powerful kicks, nature's own pest controllers. Vultures spiral high above, their keen eyes searching for the faintest sign of opportunity. As scavengers, they are the savanna's clean-up crew, ensuring that nothing is wasted and disease is kept at bay. In the shadows, small flocks of quail and francolins scuttle between clumps of grass, their camouflaged plumage a shield against predators. At dusk, nightjars take to the air, their silent flight and cryptic colors making them nearly invisible as they hunt for moths and beetles. Birds shape the savanna in subtle, vital ways. Oxpeckers cling to the backs of buffalo and giraffes, picking off ticks and warning of danger. Sunbirds flit from flower to flower, pollinating as they go, while hornbills disperse seeds far from the parent trees, ensuring the renewal of the woodland. Every feathered resident, from the smallest finch to the regal fish-eagle, plays a part in this living network. They are messengers of change, their numbers and movements reflecting the health of the land. In their migrations, nests, and daily rituals, the birds of the savanna weave invisible threads that bind the ecosystem together, filling the open sky with life, color, and promise.